Hi everyone and welcome to episode 3 of Serenova Crafts. I'm your host Jessica. I can be found on Ravelry, YouTube, and Twitter as Serenova, and I can be found on Instagram as Serenova_Phoenix. My blog is myknittinglife.wordpress.com. I don't think there's anywhere else because I don't share my Facebook. I think that's everywhere. So let's get this show started, I guess. Not much has happened in terms of like finishing things since last week. My big thing last week was finishing my socks, which I'm quite happy. I'm not actually wearing them at the moment. I'm wearing a different pair of socks I finished over the summer right now. But I did finish those last week. This week, however, I don't have anything finished to show you. But I did instead cast on 2 projects, one last Friday and one Monday, because today's now Wednesday and I cast this on Monday. And the other is now, sorry, I got a message. I'm going to have to get off Skype. I love Skype running. This was a bad idea. Skype, I am offline on Skype. Go away. Skype, go away. Okay. Skype is gone. No more Skype. I do have daylight again today, which is nice. I did close the blinds, which helped even out the lighting a bit. But I still have the artificial light over here instead of behind me where it normally is. Because then I get back shadows and this weird, like, half my face is in shadow, half my face is not in shadow. That's actually opposite, not shadow, shadow. And then I have, like, the backlit, like, halo of frizz from my hair. So I moved the light over here. It's not terribly good with the light off either, so it's either I wash out my entire face or I wash out half my face. And I think things go a little better if it's just my entire face. So I'm still getting used to this whole video thing. I might actually, for next week, I'm thinking about trying to record in the living room at our dining table, and that might work a little bit better. Because this room, the lighting's just really bad. At least in there, I could get straight on lighting because right now I'm facing a corner. And that means that I get really weird lighting. But if I wasn't facing a corner, if I was facing like straight on, I think it might work better. I thought about doing it for today, but Kevin just left to go on an interview and I had the time to record without him coming in and interrupting me. I love him dearly, but he will interrupt me. So I just decided to go for it and not move my setup right now. And maybe next week I'll remember to take my webcam and my laptop and my hard drive that I save these video files to and go out to the living room, set myself up on our dining table, which is technically part of the living room, or maybe I'll just do it on the couch, who knows. If I did it on the couch, you'd get to see all our lovely swords. Because Kevin, when I met Kevin, he had a sword collection. And one of the funny things that happened was that I walked in and I went, ooh, cool, to the apartment he was sharing with the 2 other guys he was living with, right? And apparently a couple other girls before me hadn't liked the swords, but I'm like, no, give me a katana, give me a broadsword, give me a bastard sword, you know, a mace, a warhammer, a glaive, like, I'm cool. I like the swords, which was really quite funny. But anyways, I'm completely off topic. So to get back to what I was saying, I don't have any finished objects for you. I'm going to be fiddling with my hair a lot because it's down, by the way. I don't have any finished objects to show you, but I do have 2 that I started. The supplies I picked up for a 3rd that isn't knitting, and I want to start a weaving project soon, but I don't have the yarn with me I want to use for that, but I want to do another scarf soon, weaving. So let's go with what I cast on this past week. So on Friday at my local shop, I decided to cast on my hat kit. Now, I haven't gotten terribly far in it, but I did cast it on. I actually cast it on, knit the first, like, 15 rows, and then ripped it out and did it again because I did it wrong. And this was me not reading, the pattern right. This was me messing up and not realizing I'd read the pattern wrong, and blissfully going along, and then suddenly not realizing everything. So suddenly realizing that nothing was working, realizing my mistake, and since I was only 15 rows in, it was only like, I don't know, 30 stitches at that point. Like the row goes from like 5 to like 30 stitches. That wasn't that much. So I just ripped the whole thing out, tried again. So I showed you the green and the cream last week. I think it was last week I showed you the green and the cream. together. Well, here's the start of it. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it. I can't see my little video on the screen, so I don't know what's going on. But there you go. And the striping is coming out really nicely. I like how, even though both colors are technically solids, there's a little bit of change in them. And so it's more noticeable in the green right now because I don't have big swaths of the cream. But the green you get, I don't know if you can see it, but there's really, really subtle variations in the green. I don't know if you can see that. You can kind of see it. Like super subtle variations. Like not even tonal. Like just, it's very incredibly subtle. So the second thing I cast on, which I'd wanted to make these for a while, but I haven't had the chance. And there's only like, these are knit on size zeros. So the fact that these are like 8 rows means that it's like a ½ inch of knitting. These are the beginning of my end paper mitts. And that's a free pattern. You can't really see the stitch definition, unfortunately, because it's a really, really dark purple yarn. Well, it's not that dark to me, but it looks dark on the screen. And yes, it's on double points because I don't have, well, I have a size 0 circular, but I only have one. And it's in another project at the moment that's in hibernation. So I'm using my DPNs. And yeah, so that's why it's on double points, because my size 0 circular is in a project that's hibernating. And I don't feel like removing it from that project to work on this project. So my 2 colors together for the end paper mitts, because it is a color work project, is this cream and this purple together. Unfortunately, the purple's not coming out. Like, no matter what I do, the purple's not, it's not looking purpley enough. But trust me, it's a really pretty, not quite royal purple, it's a little duller than that, but it's a really nice purple. And so that's what I'm working on. And once you've done the cuffs, you go from 0s to 2s. So at least I'm not going to be on really tiny needles the whole time. So those are the 2 projects I cast on this past week. And I can just sit there. I worked on my hitchhiker, but I only put like 1 point on it, so it doesn't really look any different. But I have been working on what I jokingly call the lace shawl of doom. And I have 2 of these. And I call them this affectionately. Oh God, the tablet is really, whoa, lighting tablet. It's not that bad actually. It's, sorry. I turned my tablet screen on and it washed out my nose, which wasn't washed out before. I told you, bad lighting. I need to try going in another room. But this was just convenient because I have my desk here. But anyways, that's better. I turned down the brightness. So I jokingly have 2 of these projects. And I call them lace shawls of doom. But they're not really of doom. They're just huge, involved lace projects that have been on the needles for far, far too long and really deserve a bit better. And I should finish them. This one I cast on in, I have Ravelry up, so give me a sec here. This project I cast on in January of, there's my internet not going to work again. I think my internet is no longer working, and I have been having problems all day with it. Like, it is ridiculous how many problems I've been having with the internet. It's not even funny. I've had to restart my computer 2 times. I've had to restart our router 3 times. My connection keeps going in and out. Yeah, it just didn't load. I don't have a connection right now. Obviously, I need a connection to upload this so you're watching it, but while I'm filming, I don't have a connection. This is ridiculous. I don't know what's going on. But I have internet on my phone. So my phone to the rescue. Because I want to look up the date when I started this project, because it's been on the needles for like a really long time. No, I don't want my catkin. I just talked about catkin. I don't need catkin. I want my Granny Shane shawl. There we go. I cast this shawl on January 1st of 2013, which means this shawl is just over 2 years old. And it being just over 2 years old means that I really should just finish it at this point. And I'm almost halfway through the border. Now, the border is 102 rows of garter stitch lace. That, because I'm doing it in the round, means 1 row of knit and 1 row of purl. And these are like 650 some odd stitch rows. So it takes me like an hour per row. Because it's lace, it's on size 2 needles. At least I think they're size 2s. Pretty sure they're size 2s? I don't know. I'll tell you in a sec when I pull it out of the bag. Are these size 2s? 2s. What does it say on here? Where's the markings on them? I know it's written on here somewhere. Yes. US size 2, which is, if I can find it again, I just lost the marking, which is 2.75 millimeters for those of you that aren't in the US. I don't know if I have anybody not watching in the US, because I know I have a few people from my knitting group, hi guys, who are watching, but I don't know if anybody else watches this yet. So, but I know of 2 people for certain who've watched my podcast, so yay, go me. Okay, so this is, I am on a knit row. I'm trying to figure this out. So you can see these are 40-inch needles. And I have it pushed about halfway down the actual needle part so it doesn't come off when I'm like taking it in and out of the bag and stuff. So this is the whole thing. It's rather big. And now the internet loads. Oh my god. But so as you can see, this is really, I'm going to see if I can hold this up to the camera where you can see it clearly. This is really intricate lace. I gotta look at my computer screen for a camera. Because I gotta move the video over where I can see it, so that when I hold it up to the camera, I know if I'm getting a decent shot or not. There we go. Yeah. So this border here, like that much, the border, yeah, that, is knit. You do 84 of these little points. 84 of the points. And then you can either knit the borders in 4 pieces and seam them, or you can do them in the round. And because I really don't want to seam lace, I'm doing them in the round. So it's not more work or less work than picking up and doing them individually and then seaming them. It's just a little more tedious because the rows are so long. So here you go. Here's the lace. And that is the right side of the lace. So the back side honestly doesn't look much different because it is garter stitch lace. And I don't think you can figure out the pattern because it's all, you know how lace is all crunched up before you block it? This is all crunched up. So, and I've just started a knit row too, because you can see here, this is where the 2 ends of the border meet. Doesn't help if my hand's in the way. You can't see it then. So you can see here, this is where it beats. And I get to seam this together once it's done. And so it's a lot of work. I've been at it for a while, and this poor shawl really deserves to be finished. Just so you know where it is from and what this shawl is called, this is Granny Shane's Shetland shawl, and it is from Wrapped in Lace Knitted Heirloom Designs from Around the World, which is written by Margaret Stove. It's published by Interweave Press, and you can get it either in digital or hardcover form. I happen to have both, which makes it easy to put a PDF on my tablet, because I bought myself the digital version so that I could have the charts like on my tablet and stuff, and then somebody got me the paperback, the actual print copy, as a present. I think it was Kevin, actually. It was probably Kevin, actually, because he just will, every once in a while, he'll just go on my Amazon wish list for, like, knitting books and just buy me stuff. Which I love. It's great. I'm constantly getting new patterns. I don't have to spend any money. But I sometimes forget who gave me a book, when I got it, etc. So he got me the book probably for my birthday in 2011, which was our first year together. We started dating that year. And then I got, like a year later, when I was starting to get frustrated with the charts on that shawl, because they're really tiny in the physical book. I mean, the charts are minuscule. I mean, you're sticking 50-row charts on a page that's like the size of an iPad. And not an iPad mini, like a big iPad. But still, that's like a really tight fit. And so I bought myself the digital so that I could blow it up, make copies, manipulate it the way I wanted, and overall just make my life easier. And the digital copy is, as of right now, $11.97 on Interweave. And the print copy is, according to Ravelry, the print copy on Amazon is $17.71. So not bad. I mean, you could get both. That'd be a little expensive. It'd be like 30 some odd bucks, but it's not bad, but it's not great either. Actually, no, it wouldn't be 30. That would be 29 and change. I'm trying to add off the top of my head. It's not going real well. But so that was Granny Shane. I have also been working on an older project that I have. This one I cast on because the internet's actually working now and I can look it up. I don't know what's up with it today. I really don't know what's up with it. I cast this on in March of last year. And this is the Vortex shawl. It's a free pattern, so I don't feel bad giving anything away. And it is by Christina McCurley. This is all in my Ravelry projects page, so you don't remember anything I'm saying. I will do my best to remember to put individual links to the patterns in my show notes, but if I forget, just go to my Ravelry project page and you'll see everything there. Well, not the sewing stuff I'm going to tell you about in a little bit, but at least all the knitting stuff will be there. So this is the Vortex shawl. It's gotten, it's grown too large for the needles at this point. Again, these are 40-inch needles. I have a thing about 40-inch, I have a thing about 40-inch lace tip Chow needles. It's a thing with me. Just leave it at that. So this is it's a riff on a pie shawl, but it's not exactly a pie shawl because you're not increasing at regular intervals, but you are increasing every row. Well, not every row. You're increasing every other row, but you're decreasing every row. So on an increased row for each pattern repeat, of which there are, how many pattern repeats are there around? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so there's 8 pattern repeats. And for every repeat, you increase 3. But on the increased rows, you also decrease 1 on the repeat. And then on the rows where you don't increase at all, you decrease 1 as well. So there's a K2 tog at the end of every repeat, no matter what row you're on, and every other row you're increasing by 3 stitches. So you can see how it starts swirling in the center, like that. You can see swirly, swirly. And then the sections get wider and wider as you go out, until eventually they're pretty wide. But what happens is that you're only repeating 2 rows until the shawl is big enough. And there is a knitted on edge that I'm debating whether to do or not, because I am on ball 2. And it's really starting to eat yarn now because the rows are getting really long, so it's starting to eat the yarn. I'm thinking when I've used 2/3 of this, when I have about 25 or 30 grams left of this, because this is a 100-gram skein, I'll make up my mind what I want to do for the border, because I figure 30 grams would be enough to get me all the way around with a little bit of extra just to be safe. So when I have about 30 grams left of this, I'm going to make my decision on the border, because I haven't decided yet. A lot of people have done a lot of different stuff with the border. I mean, I could take a lace motif from any number of books that I have, because I have a lot of lace books, and do something, or I could just do a stretchy bind off, or I could do what the pattern says, or I think it's a picot edge bind off, and those get really old really quickly, because they do. To me, they get really old really quickly. I think it's supposed to be like a picot edge, but I'm not sure. The project page, excuse my yawn. The project page is a bunch of different options, but I think it's like some kind of combined lace picot thing that I'm not sure. I mean, maybe I'll just do a couple of garter ridges. You know, just not increasing, just do a couple of garter ridges. It would lay flat that way, and I wouldn't have to block it real hard. But anyways, you can see the colors. There's a reason I'm still holding the ball of yarn. You can see the colors real well. It's like purples and blues and greens, and it's a variegated, and it was, wrong keyboard. It was color 137, of course. It's Ella Ray Lace Merino, and of course they can't name their colors things like actual colors, like purple, green, blue combo. No, it has to be 137. But whatever. And the bag I have it in right now I actually shrunk it completely by accident. Because when I was attempting to rescue my stash, it turns out some of my bags, some of my tote bags I've gotten, had gotten peed on and stuff as well. So I threw this in the wash, and it did say machine wash cold and then line dry, which means just hanging it up to dry. Well, I completely forgot that part, and I was doing it with like a load of my clothes. So I was just grabbing big fistfuls of stuff and throwing it in the dryer at my mom's house, because I do laundry at my mom's house, because I don't like doing it in her apartment building, because I don't like the way that the machines are, and I shrunk the bag. So this is my Revelry bag from Squam this past summer. When you could go up and you got the Squam Lake stuff. It was actually a blast. I got to see Stephen West. I didn't talk to him at all, but he had a table there in the market that was that evening. And he was wearing knitted shorts with tights, and he had like a neon mohawk. And my mom was just like, what? Because my mom didn't know who Stephen West was. And then I went, oh my God, it's Stephen West. And my mom's like, who is Stephen West and why is he dressed like that? It's nothing against Stephen West. My mom was just taken a bit aback by it. But, so that's that. Anything else I wanted to show you that I have in arm's reach? No. I just checked my bag. I have from thinkgeek.com, I have a bag of holding, which is a messenger bag. See? But I use it as my knitting bag / work bag when I'm working. But I have all these buttons on it. All these knitting buttons that I got. Those I all got back in October when I went to Stitches East in Hartford, Connecticut, with the yarn dyer that I know because she needed help running her booth. And she's like, hey, you want to go? I'll pay for everything. I'm like, yeah! So I did. It was a blast. What is this doing? Okay. Sorry, tablet, all of a sudden keyboard stuff going on. Hitchhiker quilt. Okay, so my hitchhiker, like I said, I actually don't have it in arm's reach. It is, what is it? Oh, it's in the bedroom because I was working on it in bed the other night. Because I was watching TV and I was propped up in bed and I was working on my hitchhiker and I just haven't grabbed it out of the bedroom, which is behind that wall. But I just haven't gotten it. And so I'm being lazy. You guys know what it looks like at this point. I've showed it twice on the podcast. It's only like two little teeth more. So it's not like it's a terribly interesting thing to show because there's like no progress. So I actually just minimized the window until I want to show you guys something because there's no real point in me getting distracted by watching myself on my computer screen. And now I know to stare directly into the camera lens. So anyways, the one other thing I want to show you, which is on the table over here, is that my local shop is doing a quilt block of the month. And it started this past weekend. We were to pick up our kits on the Saturday, and it's going to be the third Saturday of every month. You bring in your finished quilt block, and you can then get the next one. It's a way to keep you accountable, and I think that's really good because if I wasn't held accountable, forget it, it'd never get done, right? So, so I picked up the quilt blocks, and it turns out that they'd cut one piece to the wrong size. So yesterday I went and picked up the correct size pieces for both my mom and myself. Because my mom and I are actually doing this together. Which I think is pretty cool. And she's much more of a sewer than I am. And I say sewer instead of sewist. Don't ask me why. Maybe because I'm a little old-fashioned. And like my grandmother and my mom always said they were sewers. But I say sewer, not sewist. I think sewist sounds a little weird. But anyways, back to tangent, sorry. So I picked up the replacement pieces yesterday. And the piece that we were given that was too small is going to be part of a different piece of the quilt. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone's kits are going to be a little different, so I don't think it matters if I show off the fabric, because this is a scrappy quilt using scraps they have in the shop. And these are bolt ends, cut-offs people have had. You know, these are just pieces of fabric they have around the shop, and it's a good way to use them up. And personally, I don't care if I have a lap blanket that has colors clashing. Like, whatever, I'll use it. No big deal to me. No skin off my back. So I'm pulling my camera back up here so that I can show you guys the pieces. And so first I have there's 2 pieces we need to make. 1 big block and 4 little blocks. So our color wheel block has, I have little Post-it notes on them so I remember what all the pieces are because I've never made a quilt before. So I have my background piece, my my center fabric piece, which there you go, my center fabric piece, which I think is really cool. And then I have the main colors, which I gotta make triangles out of these and sew them all together because they go around the centerpiece. So, and these are a riot of colors. I mean, it's great. So here's piece number 1. It's probably easier if I hold it up like this because they're rectangular. Piece number 1. Piece number 2. Piece number 3, which is slightly more subdued because it's bamboo. And piece number 4. There we go. So I'm hoping by next show I can have a finished color wheel for you. And then the 4, and then we have to, so that's our main block center. And then we have the pinwheels that go around the main block. So this was originally, what's the right or wrong side of this fabric? I honestly can't tell. It looks almost exactly the same. Look, it looks almost exactly the same on both sides. How can I tell which is the right and wrong side of that fabric? Anyways, so this is going to be the border for my pinwheels because this was originally the background block for the other block, but they didn't cut this one quite big enough. So I got my replacement, and the light blue is my replacement. So this is going to become the border of my pinwheels, which is, again, a riot of color. I mean, we are talking like some slightly crazy stuff. I mean, it's totally cool. I'm not upset about this at all, but this is a lot of color. So you got these like giraffe or animal style polka dots. Like, they're pretty crazy. Then you have, let's see if I can do this without making a mess on my desk here. Then you have this plaid, which looks like it has rope in it. Like, yeah. Plaid. This is a slightly more subdued fabric. That one. They're all like little bandanas. I think it's cute. There's probably a name for these kinds of triangles, and I just don't know it because I've never made a quilt before in my life. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. So there's this one. Now the thing is that I need to make 4, I think. Stitch together. Make 4 of the 6 pinwheel blocks and add a border as follows. Right. So I need to make 4, I think. 4 of the 6. Finished block measures 4 inches. No, it says make 6 at the top of the page. Make 1. Okay. I think sorry. I'm trying to figure out the directions as I go, and it's not going terribly well. So then I'm gonna have to figure out a way to like combine these in such a way that like they're not crazy horrible or anything. Is this one? But they are quite an interesting combination. There's this one, which see, it's got like a little weaving detail, but it's printed on the fabric. Some of these I'm holding up close and some of them not, because some of them the pattern's big enough that you can see it easily, and some of them you can't see it easily. So this one, up close, you can see the lines aren't straight, which I think is an interesting mistake to have. I know it's not a mistake, but I think it's supposed to look imperfect. This one. And I've always loved the fabric selection at the store, but I've just never had a reason to make anything with it. So I'm kind of getting a sampling of like all of the stuff I've really liked or seen or have been seeing for years now. Because they've been open a couple of years at this point. I've been going there almost as long as they've been open. Because I started going only a couple of months after they opened. And so, so I've seen a lot of this fabric around in the shop, and I think it's really cool that I finally get to work with it all. So there's this one. It's pretty neat. And then there's only 3 left, I promise. This isn't going to go on forever. There's this one, little medallions, which I think is really cool. polka dots, more polka dots, but these are brighter and they're orange. And lastly, this colorful thing, which I think is flowers. Yeah, it's flowers. It's flowers. And that's it. That is what I'm going to be making my pinwheels out of. So, this will be interesting. I've never quilted before in my life. I've sewed very few things. I mean, those curtains were, I have a machine, but I never use it. Well, I think that's it for today, everyone. Thank you for watching. I'm going to put all my info here. And yeah, I'll see you next week. As always, you can see my regular text blog posts on my blog, which is myknittinglife, all one word, .wordpress.com. And thank you for watching.